What's good, y'all? Y'all see what today is? We a little bit. Let's get that to focus. Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see it? It says Saturday. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Saturday, September what? 23rd, 8:42 p.m. Just watch the episode. Just watch the episode. I was not going to do this recap this week because if y'all don't watch my community page, which I need y'all to look at the community page. If you don't, that's where I pretty much tell y'all when I'm going to do the video, when to expect it, if I'm going to do the video or not, if I'm going to do the recap. I was not going to do this recap this week because that night was the night of the WNBA playoffs, Connecticut Sun versus the Indiana Fever. Big Dejanay Carrington fan, was rooting for her to send that team home, and she did. I was excited, so I was too, and it was on from 7:30 to like 9:30, almost 10 o'clock. And y'all know the episodes drop at 8 o'clock, so I was not watching it. So I was going to watch it later on, and if I decided that I had more thoughts, I was going to end up doing it, or doing the recap later on during the week. I just finished watching it. I got stuff to talk about. This episode was good, but it wasn't like eye poppy. It was good. There was good moments to talk about, but it wasn't eye poppy. But enough of me ranting. If you're new here, subscribe because I'm gonna be here all season. I am gonna be here all season. All Stars 5, when that comes out, I will be here for that. But yeah, subscribe because we're on the road to 5,000 subscribers. We're getting super close. I think I'm like under 50 now from getting to 5,000. So I wanted to do that by the end of the year, so please do that. Thumbs up the video. That helps get the interactions out. Drop the comments down below. That helps push the video out. All the interactions help push the video out. But enough of me ranting. Let's go. Love the first flashback, or the flashback for this episode. Rivals 1, you got Evelyn, one of the GOATs. If you ask me, I feel like she's probably, in my opinion, the best female competitor to ever play this game, in my opinion. But love that. Love seeing her. Tina and Nehemiah, they're skipping back in the house, excited about winning their elimination. But Tina's happy about CT being gone. She's like, I know a lot of people on our team's probably not, but I'm okay with it. But she knows that her team is dwindling down and she needs Rachel and Brad to win. If they end up going into the elimination, they have to win because they can't lose any more people on their team because they have the least amount of people on their era compared to everybody else who still essentially have damn near everybody on theirs. But Laurel and Bananas feels like Laurel put him in a bad spot because the whole house essentially hates her, and now she's a target as he is now with her. So he just hopes that his connections hold up, even though he is connected to Laurel, because everybody essentially at this point, you would think they would want to throw her in because of her aura in the house. But Laura's walking around shading Cara in her presence. I was cracking up laughing because Cara was catching it, but she was just saying little slick shit. But Aviv is pretty much stating that Laura will be her own demise at the end of the day, which is true. But Jenny, we get Jenny in a scene. She's over there tripping out because she feels like everybody on her team is not sticking up for her. Nobody's sticking out. Like, nobody's really looking out for her on their team. And she ain't lying. You essentially have the least connections on that team, and you are the odd man, the odd woman out. So, yeah, I mean, it's true. But she's pretty much saying that Michelle should have volunteered because Jenny has already went into elimination. So she shouldn't have been the target when you got Casey, who has not been in elimination. You got Michelle, who hasn't even been a target. So it's like essentially you are the one that should have raised your hand and volunteered like y'all claimed y'all was going to do. So I'm fully in agreement with Jenny, but Jenny got to realize you dealing with some snakes. But Michelle says like Jenny saying that she don't have connections, but Josh has connections and he's a target with her. So she's pretty much saying like Josh could easily try and help you out with getting out of the elimination. If y'all do lose and you end up going in, you can kind of rely on his connections to not get your name said. But Casey's boring ass, the only time that she was shown on this episode, talking about Jenny saying that she complains about not having connections, saying all Jenny likes to do is talk about snacks, her guinea pigs, and working out. While all that can be true, I find Jenny more entertaining than you. Like, let's keep it real. But we get to the next day, they're lounging around the house and stuff like they normally do. We get a scene of Josh and Tori outside. Josh is pretty much trying to get him, Tori, Devin, and Casey. All four of them I can't stand. Ugh. Wanting all four of them to pretty much rally up numbers to keep their core four together. And he feels like Rachel, Jordan, and Johnny would ride or die for them. Rachel, hell no. Rachel is like me. You can tell Rachel, like, she gonna do what's gonna get her to the end of the game, and not only that, she's gonna get out the people that are gonna be threats to her in the game when it comes to numbers. She knows Josh, Tori, Devin, Casey, gotta get them out. Because that's a pack right there. You need to weaken those numbers, and she's not stupid. And then she's against both of those eras essentially because Tori and Devin are on the same era, and then Casey and Josh are on the same era. And they're not, and those two eras are working together. So why would Rachel want to look out for y'all? But okay. Jordan, obviously, with Tori and Johnny. I don't know why they feel like Johnny. Well, I don't know why Josh feels like Johnny does, because Tori clocked it. Tori said Johnny got so many different connections in this house. He gonna work whatever connection is gonna work for him in that moment. Pretty much saying like, you might think that you have this connection with Johnny where he would actually prioritize you over everybody else. But Tori's a lot more smart game-wise than Josh is. Because Tori knows Johnny's going to do what is best for Johnny in that moment. And if era 4 or era 3 is not best for him in that moment, he's going to throw you in there. And we're going to get to that in a minute. But that's pretty much what she was doing. But Josh feels like Johnny and Laura are his really good friends outside of here. And Johnny took him under his wing. I'm like, when did he take you under his wing? I'm like, you're delusional. Just like how you thought you had that beef with Wes back in the day. Like, Josh is a big fan on the show. He's a fan that got cast on the show. But they do some little corny-ass vacation alliance handshake and yada yada. We get Rachel and Brad pretty much kind of like fully expecting to go into elimination. Both of them are kind of like trying to pump each other up. Nia, Tori, and Avery. Nia's talking about how she's got concerns about how John A. pretty much reneged on her agreement to go in as they were volunteering like a whole revolving door. One person volunteers to be a target each week. And she didn't do it. And they feel like all three of them feel like it was a blatant sign of disrespect. So that's the team morale when it comes to John A. And then we got a scene with Cory and Nehemiah, who are literally like this. Like, they're each other's number ones, essentially, at this point. That's what it looks like for sure. But Cory's pretty much saying that John A is pretty much the weight that's holding him down because they're both targets together. And essentially, she could be an easy target considering what she did. And he's pretty much talking about how, like, John A said she'll go down, and she didn't do it, but she still ended up getting voted as a target. So it's like, it don't bode well for me because you attached to me. So if they want to vote you in as a target, I have to go down too. But John A and Nehemiah are talking. She's saying that she never expected him to choose her as a target because he had a huge part in her winning All-Stars too. And she talks about how like the people closest, like she started talking about like her personal life and stuff, how pretty much the people that are closest to her have always eventually ended up fucking her over in the end. So Jenny and Johnny, we get a scene with them too, and they're pretty much talking. Jenny and Johnny seem to be like this, and I would say Johnny seems like he actually does trust Jenny, and I feel like he would put her game as priority, not over his, of course, but I feel like he would look out to her for a certain extent. I feel like that over Josh. I feel like he would look out for Jenny over Josh. Y'all let me know what y'all think. But he's pretty much telling her like you gonna keep winning for your team, and they're going to keep throwing you in. So essentially, the way I took it is like, he's pretty much telling her, you might as well start throwing shit. Because at this point, you're going to eventually get in there because they're going to keep trying to get you targeted. So why not? Like, Johnny was playing Johnny's game. Johnny was playing the game that Johnny typically does this entire episode, and we don't get into it. But Jenny says she only trusts Bananas. Like, he's one of the only people in the game that she trusts. And he's never crossed her in the past when they play games together. They start talking about how Devin and Michelle being locked in is a bad combination because Michelle's pretty much doing everything that Devin tells her to do. That's what Johnny is saying. Johnny says that he's seeing like some concern with how Michelle's acting around Devin because he and her are cool outside of the show, and essentially he don't want Devin polluting her brain to pretty much fuck up his game. So he wants to break that up, obviously. But we get to the mission. Derrick C, which I can't wait till one of these Derricks go home so I can stop doing this. But Derrick Cancun believes that it's in Carr's best interest to throw the challenge to get Laurel to go into elimination. I agree, essentially, to a certain degree. Because it's like, you look at your team, you want to keep a strong team, but then again, you don't want to have somebody that could possibly beat you at the end. But I feel like Era 2 as a whole has the strongest set of girls. Honestly, Laura and Cara Maria, that's strong anyway. But Aviv is in good shape. For her to be as older as she is, I ain't gonna say as old as she is because she's not old, but she older. She old to everybody else on the show. But they all in good shape and they all perform well. So I guess one person going is not a bad thing. But They get to the challenge. The challenge is called Cloud Catcher. They have to select 3 players to run this race. It's pretty much like an obstacle course, low key. They race across the field through the obstacle to grab color-coded balloons. One at a time, they race them back through a pergola, whatever the fuck that was called. I don't know. It was just like some... Y'all know. Y'all watched it. It's got sharp things pointing out of it that could end up popping the balloons. They continue until all balloons have been retrieved, which will then raise a riddle that they have to solve. And the team with the most balloons connected in the least amount of time will win. And their targets will be safe. Obviously, the losing targets will go into elimination. Whichever losing era, their targets will go into elimination. All right, so Laurel's pretty much trying to put her team, like they have these little team confessionals, and she's pretty much trying to put on her best I'm a team player type vibe going on. And Cara's pretty much saying, like, I was thinking I was going to throw this competition, but I'm not going to be like Laurel. Like, I'm here to win. Like, she pretty much said that shit in front of her, too. But they begin. The most noteworthy points, Derrick K, Kosinski, Era 1, he started jumping between 2 hills, felt like he broke his leg. He started screaming in agony. I was cringing because I don't like watching stuff like that. But Rachel's popping balloons as this is happening. Era 1 is a mess. I found it crazy because they didn't send no medic out there to him as he's screaming in agony. Screaming in agony. He was laying down at one point. Nobody came out there. But he gets up and starts trying to crawl and then starts trying to hop to finish it. So I'm like, I guess it's not that bad. But Devin knows Era 4 and Era 3 have to win because the other targets won't save them. Essentially, Era 2 and Era 1 won't save Era 3 or 4. So it's pretty much the young heads versus the old heads. So Era 1, they're fucking everything up, popping every balloon. Jordan sitting there hollering at Nia and Johnny. They better than me because I'd have been cussing him out. I probably would have got over there and probably would have wanted to hit him the way he was yelling. And he yelled later on again, and I'm going to get to it again. But Era 2 and 3, they're trying to work the riddle at this point because they pretty much finished all their balloons first. Era 3 finishes first, so they're the fastest team so far. Era 2 was shortly behind them. Era 4 and 1 were trying not to be last. Era 4 ends up finishing before the Era 1. So Rachel and Brad, we know they're going in. We know they're going in. They done popped hella balloons too. So they were the slowest and they done popped more balloons than every other era. That's obvious. But Era 3 and Era 2 were the fastest teams, but Era 4 had the most balloons. So guess who won? Era 4. That means Josh and Jenny are safe. Laurel and Bananas, John A. and Cory have to go plead their case to those two in deliberation. So we get back to the crib. And shout out to all my dogs at the crib. If you watch Big Brother, you know what I'm talking about. But Johnny, he don't have too much faith in Josh because the last time he crossed him, like, why would you have faith in Josh? Josh is a bitch. Like, Josh, he does things super emotionally. He doesn't think strategically. He doesn't think smart. He thinks with his emotions. He wants to play best friends. He comes to the challenge to play best friends. And you can't play a game like that. That's why he's never won. Not only that, you play like a simp. That's the best way I can put it. And he's not athletic. He's goofy. And he cracks under pressure. Like, every time you're in elimination and you're big, I'm trying to think of all the eliminations he's done. I feel like he could have won some eliminations before that he hasn't, and I feel like he could have and should have made it to finals before because he's so well connected in the game and that's a big part of this game is the social aspect. Like, you got to have people that's going to look out for you, and he's had plenty of people that look out for him, and he still does not find a way to get to the final and damn near get a chance to win. So I wouldn't have faith in him either. But Cory knows that Josh is wishy-washy. He wants Bananas against Brad. Cory, I'm proud of Cory. Cory has been playing this game the way I be wanting Cory to play the game. Cory's always going to play a game to get himself to the end. He always thinks about himself first, which is the way you're supposed to play the game. He always thinks, okay, Bananas is a strong target. We already had this turmoil in our history with this show. Every single season, Cory at least is trying to get Bananas out. And that's what you should be doing. This man done won 7 challenges. Why do you want this man to still be here? I'm like, Josh, idiot, but Cory's the one that gets it. But Rachel's stating that if they're not going to be first, she's saying it's the Brad and Tina, if they're not going to be first, meaning their team is never going to win a mission, as we all know, she'd rather them go in because they'll probably be picked anyways, But they can't really go around offering people safety because they're not going to win anyway. So it's like, how am I going to offer you safety if I can't even win? But era 4, they're having a meeting, and Josh is sitting there being corny, talking about how he loves working with them and yada, yada, yada. But he essentially says, like, he wants to do what's best for the team. So he essentially wants them to kind of come to an agreement on who they should actually send in to go up against Rachel and Brad. So Olivia, not a fan of her, but I've been agreeing with her a lot this season. She wants Laurel and Bananas in, as she should. Kylan obviously agrees because Kylan plays a smart game as well. Kylan wants to win. He knows you got to get out the people that are going to be the biggest threat for you to win or against you to win. But she says because they're just built like that. Like, Kylan agrees because Kylan agrees with Olivia because they just built that relationship with Era 3. So it'd be stupid to send in Cory and Janae when you're literally trying to work with Era 3. Like, Josh, wake up. But he pretty much said it would be stupid to do it. But they get to the deliberation. Laurel says she doesn't know what to expect, but she feels like with Johnny being there with her, it's a better chance than him not being there. Because any other chance, she feels like she would have obviously been the target to go in. But Josh starts it off asking who do y'all want to go up against? Pretty much asks anybody to take the floor. Brad and Rachel say, I don't want to say no names. So they just sit back and chill and let the other two eras kind of plead their case. Cory jumps to say what he says. He says Jenny is close to Bananas, as is Josh. But the last time they saw a shift in the directions when it comes to the eras. He says you see era 1 and 2 protecting each other, and then era 3 kind of have each other. Not wrong. Cory then asked Johnny and Laurel, am I wrong for saying that? Johnny says, I ain't going to confirm or deny it. Pretty much saying, I'm not going to say you are or not because why would I agree to that? But he knows Cory's telling the truth. Everybody there knows Cory's telling the truth. But Janae ends up saying that she came into the game with 2 relationships and she felt like she didn't have to campaign to, pretty much saying, like, don't say my name. And they're essentially the reason why she's down there in that deliberation right now. So she's pretty much saying, I don't have no ties in this game now. I have a clean slate. If you want to work with me, I can find ways to help you out if it's necessary. Pretty much saying, I'm a free agent at this point. Try and work with me. I ain't got no alliances right now. So Laurel pretty much stating that she's more able to pay back any kind of promises that she might make to Josh and Jenny because she's been top 2 damn near. Like, their era is always top 2. Like, they either winning or close to winning. So she's pretty much saying my percentage of me actually winning the mission to actually have power to keep you out is higher than the rest of these other ones. She ain't lying. But Cory says more than era 3. She's like, yeah. Like, the probability of me winning is stronger than y'all. It's subjective because I feel like era 3 could do good too, but it's subjective. But Johnny's playing into Josh's simp antics. Like, he's guilt tripping him, basing it off of like the last time Josh snaked him. Said that you have the ability to make it right. Pretty much saying like, if you put me in, I'm done with you. Even though I feel like Johnny don't really fuck with Josh like that anyways, but he knows what he's doing. He knows that you can play that emotional game with Josh and Josh will fold because Josh wants to be best friends with these people that he idolizes. Like, let's be so for real. But Josh talking about something, it hurt for Johnny to bring that up in front of everybody because he has no idea how hard I struggled with that decision. Josh, you cry all day long and it's on fucking TV. It's literally filmed. We all know, the fans at home know how hard the decision was for you because we watched you cry about it. The people in the house watched you cry about it. Some of the people in the house were in there when you did. Like, what do you... I can't stand Josh. But he also says that he doesn't want to snake Cory because they have a connection as well, like a friendship. And he's pretty much hoping that whatever decision he makes doesn't end the friendship. All about friendship. Okay. But and then the thing is too, I would work with Cory over Bananas any day. Because Cory's not, when you got Cory and Bananas, who's the bigger threat? Bananas, the one who's won 7 times. Cory has not won yet. And I feel like the one that's more trustworthy, the one that's more loyal is Cory. Cory has shown that he's loyal. You saw how loyal he was with Nelson. You saw how loyal he was with Hunter. Like, Cory, when he's with somebody, he's with somebody. Johnny will show, he's shown you saw what he did to damn Sarah. That is, even though I would have done the same thing. Just like Ashley did with Hunter. I would have done the same thing. But you saw what he did. He's not loyal. He's not trustworthy. So why would you put him over somebody that is? Stupid. But Cory is still heavily painting that target on Bananas, and Laurel pretty much saying Bananas is the Mount Rushmore of the challenge. She's done won 7 times. Laurel's a beast. Like, she done won twice. So pretty much saying make a move that's going to either keep you safe and help you in the long run. Like, stop being stupid. And I'm like, that would have been good too. Rachel versus Laurel, that's a dogfight. Two badass women, that's a dogfight. But Josh and Jenny start deliberating, and Jenny believes a lot of the points that were being made, and she feels like the people on their team would not come in here and play and make a decision based off of the team. They would make a decision off of what's going to help them individually get farther in the game, which you should do, honestly. I would. Josh throws a feint, and if you box, you know what I'm talking about. But he kind of throws a feint, have us thinking that he's going to agree with her to do what's best for his game. And we'll get to it. He knows that getting Bananas out is best for his game. He said it out his mouth, but he wants to prove that he's sorry for what he did the last time. I said, nigga, get the fuck off the show. Don't nobody want to watch you. Sitting here want to play best friends with somebody want to prove. Nigga, what? You are playing a game for money. Johnny would do the same shit to you. Like, I can't stand Josh. But he goes back and tells Era Ford that he and Jenny decided to vote in Cory and John A. Stoop, dummy. Olivia said it's the wrong decision. I said, again, I'm agreeing with Olivia yet again. Like, hello, stupid. Michelle also agrees, stupid. But Jenny's saying, like, Michelle would have done anything to keep her game safe. She's saying, I'm pretty much sorry, but I'm not sorry. Yeah, Michelle would have, but Michelle's a lot more strategic when it comes to playing the game. Like, Michelle, she going to do what she want to do that's going to help her out, but she's more thought out with her decisions. She's emotional, but she don't make emotional game decisions. Like, she actually tries to snake people too. But she's talking about how frustrating it is to watch them make these stupid mistakes that they know that they're going to go back and watch the show and watch it back and be like, look, this was the opportunity for me to make that move. The one opportunity for me to make that shot, and I didn't make that shot, and then Laura and Bananas going to be at the end. And then you're going to be looking like a fool. But Josh is sitting there talking about how he personally couldn't say Johnny's name right now. Told Michelle that if she was in there, it would be easier for him. I said, you so bitch made. Like, ugh. But Olivia says that I hope these people going to fight for you the way you fighting for them. I said, exactly. Exactly. Like, she been clocking it. But Josh and Jenny go to tell Cory and John A., this is funny, that they're going to be voted in. And Josh talking about how he feels bad, but he can't say Johnny's name right now. And Jenny has ties with Johnny. The way John A. and Cory was looking at him, they was looking at him like, you a bitch. Like, John A. says, like, I understand, but what do you think is going to happen when it's you up against Tori? Like, when it's you up against X, Y, and Z? Like, she's pretty much saying, like, you think Johnny's not going to do you the way you could do him? John A.'s smart. Cory's smart. Cory knew it too. But John A. says she would like to work with Jenny because they're both essentially loners in this game, but she don't see the bigger picture, a.k.a. Jenny don't see the bigger picture. You need to be getting out the people that's stronger, a.k.a. Laurel, Johnny. But Cory is playing it nonchalant in this moment, though. I'm really proud of the way he's playing this game right now. He had a stupid move with Amanda, but the rest of this game, he's playing pretty smart. But he said, I ain't going to sit here and bitch about it because if my team would have won, I could have made the decision that I wanted you to make. But tomorrow when I do win this elimination, I got 2 new targets to come in because y'all sending me in, right? I said exactly. Josh, you thought that you was going to be able to get over easy on Cory, which is why you decided to go do. Well, you wanted to prove yourself more to Bananas because I guess you value his respect more than you do Cory's. But you must not know who Cory is because Cory going to get his lick back regardless. Like, you do him, he going to do you too. So, as you should. But they go out to the bar and stuff. Laurel knows that they're getting sent in her mind. She's like, we're getting sent in, which would be the smartest thing to do. That's why she's thinking it. Like, Johnny done won 7 times. I done won twice. I just recently won. That's what she's thinking. I'm like, yeah, that would have been the smart thing to do, but it's not going to happen. But Cara is shocked. Like, Laurel can be so nasty to these people and still float around and avoid elimination. But Derrick and Brad, they're pretty much getting each other or getting Brad pumped up. Josh and Cory, they're talking again. And Cory's pretty much saying, like, you pretty much said my speech was some bullshit. Because I literally just laid out to you the most smart decision that you could have made, and you just shit on it. Like, you just spit in my face. And Josh talking about, I love Cory. I love you. Cory said, I'm going down there. I'm going to win, but how you think I'm going to come back in this game? Pretty much saying, like, how you think I'm going to come back in here? You think I'm going to come back in here and just be wanting to be kumbaya with you after you just literally gambled with my game? No. But Cory said, I'm ready to go down there and prove it to my family. But he's slick pissed. But he's handling a lot better than he normally would back in the day. But he pretty much told Josh, like, he's taking this as a shot at him. AKA, I'm coming back to return that favor to you. But Laura's sitting there lying on the bench by herself, which cracked me up. But Johnny and Ryan are strategizing to kind of rebuild their team morale. Ryan low-key wants Laura and Bananas to go down there in that elimination. Because Ryan playing the game too within his team. But Cory and Johnny, they're pretty much pumping each other up to get down there and win. Johnny said, like, this had to happen for us to be successful in the game, and Cory agrees. But Bananas is pretty much warning Michelle. As they're going back to the buses to go back to the crib, he's pretty much warning Michelle about Devin playing her for game. Which, two things can be true. I do believe Devin is playing her for game, but Johnny is also using this for game. Like, two things can be true. But she gets on the bus, relays the message to Devin because she's concerned. Devin then comes back to the crib, and they sitting there talking, and he pretty much tells Michelle, like, I'm going to have a private conversation with Bananas and address this shit. Like, he's trying to dismantle my game and also dismantle somebody that I really like. Talking about Michelle. I doubt that. Maybe you like her as a person, but I don't think you really fuck with her like that. You know she's an asset to your game, and you're going to use it. I don't see these two get married. Like, let's be for real. But Michelle don't want him to say anything because obviously it would show her card, her running her mouth. But he ends up saying, like, you shouldn't tell me something to make me want to beat somebody up. You ain't going to do shit. Because you remember that reunion Final Reckoning when he was talking about his deceased father, when Bananas was talking about his deceased father, and he got up there and stood over him like this. You ain't do shit. You talk about my parents. Especially if one passed, you getting cracked, boy. You getting cracked. But Devin sees it as Bananas pretty much manipulating her against someone, manipulating her, somebody who he cares about, against him. I'm like, yeah, two things can be true because I believe both situations are manipulated. But the next day, I believe it was, but Devin ends up addressing Bananas, saying that you're allegedly telling Michelle that I'm using her for game. Johnny's talking about something. Yeah, I'm glad you're saying allegedly. Pretty much trying to play oblivious, which he's sitting there saying that he knows that Devin is going to eventually try. He said that he knows that Devin is eventually going to try and get him out. He said, all I told Michelle is that we're friends outside of this, and Devin wants me out, and he hopes, I hope that this won't drive a wedge between me and you. That's a lie. You did not say that shit. Olivia clocked it again. So that's some bullshit. Like, I was there. He did not say that. Banana says, like, it never came out of my mouth saying what you claiming that I said, which it came out your mouth. It came out your mouth. Tori ends up asking Bananas if he honestly believes that Devin does not care about Michelle. Yeah, I don't. He's saying that he never said that still, Bananas. But Devin ain't got the same energy that he claimed he was going to have because it was true. That's why. But Bananas ends up going and working out with Cara, and Michelle's standing there watching. They start going back and forth. Bananas talking about how he doesn't know why Michelle even brought his name up into the conversation with Devin. Michelle's pretty much saying, like, when my friend tells me to keep my guard up, I'm going to keep my guard up, and I'm going to check in with the person that I'm out here fucking to make sure that I don't fall into the same trap that I did in the past. Cara says she feels bad because Johnny's pretty much running game on her. That's pretty much what she said. Rachel loving it because she like, essentially, these two eras are working together, and any kind of dissension between these eras is best for me, so keep at it. But Ryan wants Rachel to win the elimination, obviously, because that's his number one girl in the game. He needs Era 1 to not be super weak, which they are weak already, but losing her would make them extremely weak. But John A is pretty much saying, like, moments like this that piss her off, fire her up to win. And Brad wants to win for his boys. Like, his boys is at home watching the show, and he wants them to win. He wants them to watch him win. So, we finally get to the elimination. Rachel versus John A. and Brad versus Cory. Bitch ass Josh bitched out again. The elimination is called To the Point. There's each side. Wait, each has a side on their court. What am I writing? Y'all watched the elimination. Do I even need to do this? Do I need to break it down? Because y'all already watched it. But those of y'all that don't watch it, there's walls on each side with spikes coming out of the walls. And there's a line of balls in the middle, like balls. And the goal is to throw the balls on the opposite wall. So say I got spikes back here. I'm throwing it across this way. You're trying to hit the ball on the spikes. So you're trying to do that and repeat it until all balls are gone. You want to have the most balls on the spikes until there's no balls. And when you throw the ball and it doesn't hit one of the, what you call it? You know what I'm talking about. It's a dead ball. You know what I'm trying. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. But we get to it. Cory and Brad. It looked so much harder than you thought it was initially. I was like, oh, this is going to be easy. When they started, I was like, no, it's probably not that easy because the way they was doing it, you had to find a right strategy to actually get the ball to stick. And I feel like Cory had the best strategy out of all four of them. He got his ball on first before Brad. Nehemiah obviously rooting for Cory to come back. Brad stated that the balls were not weighed evenly. Like, it's so much harder to throw it than what you think it would be. I was thinking it was going to be like some dodgeball that type of ball where it's easy to just throw it. But the way Cory was throwing it, he was throwing chest passes straight across. Best way that you could have did it. But Brad is over there throwing them hard, throwing them overhead. And Brad finally got one when Cory has three of his now. Cory sees that he finally got one. The balls are starting to dwindle down, so Cory's now trying to play defense. At this point, I'm up. I just have to be up by the end of it. When there's no more balls to play, I just have to have the most points. So at this point, Cory is now trying to play defense on Brad. And Cory's trying to get the balls out of play to prevent Brad from scoring anymore. So that's smart. And Brad ended up getting one final ball. It was 2 balls left. He got 1 ball on there. Cory threw the last one out because it came down to 4-3. And Cory ended up winning. Thank God. Brad and that beard is gone. Another era one gone. Rachel versus John A. Rachel was hitting her shit quick. She got 3 immediately, essentially. John A. finally got her first one in. Rachel ended up hitting 2 more, so it's 5-1 at this point. John A. hits her second one. Rachel is now playing defense. I'm up on you bad, so I need to start making sure that you don't get shit. So she's playing defense, but as she's playing defense, she's kind of like bending down sometimes. And Jordan is yelling at John A. Which, I mean, he got a valid point, but the way he talks to people, the way you yelling and shit, like, that's not going to work with everybody. Like, I'm a tough love type of person. Like, when I played sports, my coaches were rough and they were tough. But you ain't about to be screaming at me like that. What the fuck's wrong with you? When we grow, you ain't about to be screaming at me like that. But he was screaming and yelling at her, pretty much saying, like, when she's bending, throw the ball, which is a valid point. But, like, let's keep it real. But they start going, and it gets to the point where Rachel ends up winning. Y'all know. Era 1 now only has road rules. I'm glad Rachel pointed it out. They only have road rule players. It's her, Rachel, Derrick, Darrell, and Tina. John A. got eliminated. Obviously, she's upset because John A. be wanting to win. But Cory and Rachel get to choose their targets for the week. Tina, obviously, is Cory's choice for Era 1 because she's the only other woman up there besides Rachel. Darrell volunteers for Rachel. Rachel chooses Nehemiah for Era 2. Cory chooses Aviv for Era 2. For Era 3, Nia cracked me up. Because Cory was like, we had somebody that wants to go in for our era. And Nia talking about some, give it to me, daddy. I died laughing. But Jordan also volunteered for Rachel to choose him for Era 3. Kylan volunteers. And Michelle finally volunteers for Era 4. So, good episode. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts down below. It is a late video, so please thumbs up the video. Help the interactions. Help me get in the algorithm again because I'm 3-4 days late. But I will be here on Wednesday, I believe. Yeah, I'll be here on Wednesday. Y'all should see me Wednesday night. See y'all then. Peace.